Right, and I'm going to assume then that we are live. Hello everybody and welcome back to round 6 of the Premier Series. You join me and
X-Strategy.
From the very overcast circuit of Austria. Let's get all the stuff up here on the screen so you can see what our drivers are up to then. So round 6 in the Premier Series coming to you live from the Styrian Mountains in Austria. The Red Bull Ring, purchased by Red Bull and redone for the 2014 Formula 1 season, bit of history around this track for you then. But the two Red Bull drivers then, Thunder and Wolfie, about to start their laps. The all-Irish lineup at Red Bull this season. I think the only time we've actually had that in the history of the Premier Series. As yeah, definitely live now. I've got three people watching, one comment in the chat, so make sure to join in for this one, Natty. A track where it's very easy to invalidate, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of medium high-speed corners, some that are really easy to run wide, especially turn 1 and the final 2 corners. So getting limited corner cutting warnings is definitely going to be key to a good result around this track.
Yes, certainly. We saw yesterday with RCA in the Freshman League picking up no penalties and being able to secure a very good result there yesterday. So important for the drivers is to try and just keep it out of the penalty range. Certainly not going too far off the racetrack here. I'm going to look in the chat and see if they're actually streaming to the right platform, because I made that mistake once before.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tight and close grid tonight. A few yellow flags, and that's just drivers getting out of the way. A few cars. I don't know if you've noticed, but Spanner's retired. I'm assuming that's still serving his penalty.
Yes, he did have an LLP4 for this race, and so that is essentially a qualifying ban. He will not be allowed to qualify here tonight. Right? Yes, we are definitely streaming to Twitch. So that's a good thing. I had to double check that, sorry. So Cash Sengel then, the Dutch driver, on provisional pole at the moment, 1 minute 3.7. Natty, could you give us a little update actually on where he sits in the championship standings, in fact, the championship standings as a whole?
Cash Sengel was currently in P3 in a minute on 60 points, but Absolute 11 still leading the championship on 106 points. Frozer behind on 63 points. So Absolute's got a comfortable 43 point gap going into this race. A few more yellow flags, yeah, F1 Lover in 4th, and Joe only 4 points behind F1 Lover in 5th place. So Joe, after getting that win out last week in Canada, has really put himself back up in the championship fight, you could say. So it's still really close and all to play for to be in the top 6.
And speaking of Joe, he said a horrible latest lap, or most recent lap there. I think he's backed off now, but let's go on board with the most recent race. But no, we won't do that because he's just invalidated at turn 1. So that would have been a bit of a waste of time. But yeah, we've got almost all of our drivers out on track here. Shankster and Absolute 11, I was going to say, leaving it quite late once again. It seems to be their trademark in these quali sessions. But Shankster back out on the track now. New helmet design for the Mercedes driver, kind of blending in to the colours of his car a bit.
Yeah, and so I was just going to say how I was riding on board with Hacker, and Isaac Smart lost the rear at the end of exit of turn 1, which is why he's out of this session. Unfortunately for him, didn't really get a representative lap time, but because this track's so short, it's going to be a really close qualifying, and the conditions are starting to brighten up a bit.
Yeah, certainly. I'm going to try and see here if anyone's gone on the mediums. In fact, they have. So Ben, Robert, Before You Die, Bon Evil, Shankster, Absolute, and Napula all on the medium tyres here, Natty. That could be very interesting for the strategy this evening. We won't talk about strategy until after qualifying is over, for those of you wondering in the chat. Napula now has had a good string of results recently, Natty. Very consistent, getting back towards his old form, certainly in Gavra racing. A very prominent driver in the Super League a couple of seasons ago, famed for his ballsy strategic calls, let's say. Thank you to the 26 people currently tuning in, as Napula then rounding the final corner in the Haas car. In my opinion, this Haas looks a lot better than the Haas that's currently on the grid, but it goes into 10th position then, the fastest driver on the medium tyres so far. And what would you want? Let's play a game of what would you do, Natty. In this qualifying session, would you be wanting to start on the softs or the mediums right now?
It all depends. I'm assuming because we've got some drivers on the mediums that it's going to be an all dry quali session, but I guess it depends really how you might want to play this race. If you want to be more flexible, you might try and start on the mediums, so you can either go to softs or hard if there's an early safety car. But yeah, I guess if you want to really be up there, softs are definitely going to be the best tyre. Soft to medium is doable around this track. Tyre wear is quite bad on the end of the stint, but yeah, it's. I mean, we see the majority on the softs at the minute, so we're just going to have to wait and see what the likes of Shankster can do. We know he's quicks and absolute as well, so how high they can get up on the mediums would be interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the UI off here. We're going to go for an audio up lap on board with Cash Stengel then. The Dutch driver making his way down to turn 3. We'll keep the telemetry and track map up for you though. Taking a very wide line on entry there, Cass, actually, so goes through turn 3. Remember, that is turn 3. Turn 2 is a little kink to the left, which is mainly a corner because MotoGP is a thing and a very good motorsport if you ask me. Down towards turn 4 now, braking just after the bridge that goes across the track there, the little Rolex gantry, and now up through the gears. Once again, as we head in towards turns 6 and 7. Massive Red Bull statue on the left hand side. We'll get a good look at it as Cass blasts past now down the hill past where the orange fans normally would be, the orange army supporting Max Verstappen, and through turn 8 now underneath the Fanatec bridge towards turns 9 and 10. Sling it in 7th gear. Look at the commitment on the front end from that Alfa Romeo, and now Cash Stengel through the final couple of quarters, shifting up through the gears once again. DRS wide open to the line now. It's a 1 minute 3.4 and extends his advantage on provisional pole there, Natty. Great lap.
Yeah, it's a really good lap. Just first driver into the low 103s. 5 tenths clear of Fraser behind. We've still got 10 minutes to go in the session, but because the track's so short, we're going to see so many close lap times. So it's just about pushing the track limits and getting the most out of the car, which is definitely going to separate pole from second place.
Yes, certainly, and his teammate is Alfa Romeo teammate, F1 lover, who does a great job of managing all the social medias as well, always doing the post-drivers debrief, post-driver interviews even, after race, which he posts on the Instagram, doing a great job, and let's see if he can do as good a job right now in qualifying on his current lap. I haven't seen his sector split times, but we'll get a look, or get an idea, as to how good he is going at the moment. 46.4 through the middle sector, so I don't think his intervals are working, so we'll just keep an eye on that F1 lover then as he goes through the final sector of this Austrian Grand Prix circuit. As Ben Roberts actually puts himself onto this first row, a 1:03.6 as F1 lover bails on that particular lap. Then Joe in third on the 1 minute 3.7. I must say, Natty, not as fast a times as I thought we would have seen from the Premier Series so far.
Yeah, 1:03.4. It's not a bad time, but I think we might see a few quicker ones later on in the session. I was looking at F1 lover's sector splits, and he lost 9 tenths in the middle sector, which is why I think he decided to back off of that time. Completely matched Cash Stengel in the first sector. So, two Alfa Romeos looking strong, but it's whether F1 lover can put together a clean lap in the end.
As Thunder puts himself into 5th position now, had that podium, of course, in Bahrain, but since then, Natty, his season just hasn't really taken shape, I think you could say.
Yeah, he's had a spell of bad luck, a little bit like Shankster. He had that crash or that spin in Bahrain, the crash in China, and yeah, I think he could still be in the championship fight. Currently, 8th place is Thunder, so he can get himself high up. As he's been a bit blocked by Guillotine on his lap, that's not going to do him any favours, and he will have to settle and go for another lap.
And just trying to get a quick idea of who's coming across the line there. We saw Tiger Assassin going up into 8th position, and his teammate Ted just behind him, 3 thousandths behind actually, so very close down in the McLaren camp. They're going to be looking to move forward from the double points finish last time out in Canada. Before you die now out on a driver who once again Natty has got pace, but has just seemed to have some bad luck. In fact, there's really been a rejuvenation of Before You Die here in the Premier Series. I think struggled a little bit the last time he was in the Super League last season and this season before. But definitely bouncing back in the Premier Series and establishing himself as a front-running driver, or midfield front-running driver.
Yeah, definitely. He's currently 10th in the championship, and he's only scored points in one race, and he's got 10 points from China. The rest he's scored 0 points, and that retirement in the Netherlands. So he's done well in that race in China to get 10 points and still be 10th in the championship. It's just whether he can keep that consistency from China throughout the rest of the season.
Well, we talk about consistency, Natty. One man who's had plenty of that is our championship leader, Absolute 11. Has just set the fastest middle sector of anybody, but had a disappointing race. He's still on the podium last time out in Canada. He's going to blast his way through the final couple of corners, and that's right on board with a championship leader in the Alpha Tauri, keeping the same Vettel-themed helmet. DRS open to the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 3.7. Goes into P4, so not miles away from the top step of from provisional pole position. But not that close to it either. Still about 3/10 separating Absolute 11 and Cash Stengel as it stands.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his sector splits now. He appears to have lost a little bit of time in the final sector. Yeah, he's 2 tenths down on Cash Stengel through the final sector, so maybe a little bit cautious on this lap, just trying to get a lap on the board. And then he might go for one more lap in the final 3 minutes of the session.
Yes, certainly. As Nakula now shuffles both of the McLarens out of the top 10, putting his Haas into 10th position, 1 minute 4.0. So still a bit of time to find there for Tiger and Ted, 3/10 outside of the points as it stands. But because this is such a short track, Natty, it's very, very hard to find those 3/10 as Frozen now goes into P2, 1 minute 3.4, same as Cash Stengel, but not being able to challenge his fellow Dutchman at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the top 13 are separated by a second, the whole grid separated by 1.5 seconds. It's so close in this qualifier session. I'm sure we'll see the likes of Wolfie, Bates and Hacker setting a few more times in the session, maybe get themselves closer to the rest of the field. Wolfie's on an invalid lap at the minute, might try and go for one more, but decides to come to the pits and put on a new set of softs. But yeah, the grid is so close.
Just watching Boniva now. She makes her way through the final couple of corners. Done the fastest purple sector, purple mid the sector, but has actually invalidated there, Natty, and so this lap will not count for the British driver as she makes her way to the line now. Start another lap. Thunder 50-50 looking to improve on his lap times. Just trying to see who's actually close to the line here. Frozen's coming back into the pits. I think that Thunder will be the next car to cross the line here. The Red Bull Ring, obviously owned by the team he's currently driving for in the Premier Series. 34 people watching, great to see. Let's actually take a moment to look in the chat here. Hello to Gav, obviously. Shirtless Timmy, hello. Speedy McSpeed, Speedy McSpeed's back. Yes, Speedy, best name. Listen, one of the top 3 names ever, along with like Hungry Hippo. Hello to Ivor Velocity as well. Happy birthday, I think it was as well recently. It might have been yesterday. I'm not 100% sure on that. Shirtless Timmy, thank you for the compliment. We are just the perfect combination, Timmy. Yeah, there's nothing more to be said. Hello to Cash Stengel, currently our provisional pole position sitter at the moment. Cass in the chat. Robert Codfather says good evening, everybody. Nice to see Robert back. Unfortunately, just missed out on points yesterday, but he'll be fine. He'll get some more points next week. Tech is hoping for some offense defense action. Yeah, maybe after the race. Tech is. Cryptech being a fan of the Orange Army. Max Verstappen shill as always. Cryptech there. Hello to Badger Mace as well. Katumi, good evening. Yes, good luck to all of the drivers. Pass on your message. Rick Holt, hello to Rick Holt as well. Piero is back saying hello, ladies. Unfortunately, neither me or Natty are female. Natty's also in the chat as himself. Trying to see who else is here. Yes, there are going to be quite a few DRS trains, I think. Bonival saying easy 2/10 to be gained. Yes, definitely. She was 2/10 up in the middle sector. Had done the fastest middle sector of anyone there. But let's have a look at Joe now, who's coming to the line.
Yeah, I think he backed off on his lap in the middle sector. I think he got held in some traffic off the Williams and his teammate, but it looks like he's going to give it another go on the set of soft tyres. This will probably be his last lap in this quarter session. So your last time winner in Canada, currently in P3 at the moment, and let's see what he can do on this lap.
Yes, certainly. And hello to Wilk as well, or Wilch. Hello. Nice to see you in the stream. Joe, 1/10 up then, but actually, Natty, if he just kept that pace till the end of the lap, that would put him on pole position at the moment. So let's run on board then with Joe, the most recent race winner in the Premier Series, as he navigates the final couple of sectors here in Austria. Only a handful of corners left to go. It's only 10 rounds here. Frozer has actually retired from the session, so he's not going to be starting higher than second at the moment. Though I'm sure Joe's doing everything that he can to relegate him further to third. He's lost time in the middle sector now. He didn't hook cut turn 6 as much as I thought he would, and he's gone a bit wide there as well as Thunder gets nicely out of our way there. 2 minutes left to go in this session, down into 6th gear for turn 9 and then turn 10 over the curb now, and that's ruined his lap and it's invalidated as well.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Joe there. That would have put him
on pole.
Yeah, would have been in pole. So if you're looking at his sector split, sector times, quickest in the first and final, and just like you were saying, lost time in the middle sector. So unfortunate for Joe. It looks like he might be going for it again, but his next lap's invalid. So unfortunate for him.
Yeah, as looking at Cashstenger now currently on provisional pole, looking to extend his advantage as Guillotine retires from the session, so he won't be starting above 8th position this evening. Then as Cashstenger all around the penultimate corner, then round the final corner, will go on board with the Alfa Romeo to the line. What's it going to do? He's invalidated, Natty. And that would not have been an improvement anyway, but that's going to be bitter luck for Cashstenger at the moment. Ooh.
Shanks as well coming into the pits. I thought he was setting himself up for another lap, but decides to bail on that attempt.
I said Ben Roberts here, Nat. He still hasn't actually done a time. F1 lover even. But Ben Roberts invalidating at turn 1. That's his qualifying over. Absolute 11 now. Our championship leader through the final corner. Where can he put himself in the Alpha Tauri? It is third place. Third place for Absolute 11 so far. That should be the end of his quali. Can anyone else unseat him? Ben Roberts is already invalidated. Before You Die has backed off that lap. Bod Evil though now, she said that she easily had 2 tenths to find that see if she can find them now. F1 Lover's actually retired from the session, so he's going to start no better than P11. Bon Evil, she's not as far up through the middle sector as she was on her previous lap, and now through the final sector, turns 8, 9 and 10, the only 3 obstacles in her way. Let's run on board with the Alpha Tauri. Slings it in 7th gear but gets understeer mid-corner. That's dragged the car out wide, and again at the final corner, Natty. That's ruined her lap and she's crashed.
Really unfortunate for Bon Evil. Napula as well is on her time. Just 200ths off on his personal best. The other Haas is coming into the pit, so looks like it's just Napula who can set a time. Absolute 11's down in his lap as well, so it's just going to be Napula in this session. He's a 10th up on his time, and this could be good for Bon Evil if Napula goes into the top 10, pushes her into 11th, and she'll get a fresh set of tyres for the race. But here comes Napula around the final corner and is invalidated.
Is it just so annoying when that happens, especially for us commentating up here? So Ali's gone so quickly through the middle sector. Oh, it's invalid, never mind. Oh, hello to Dutchy as well in the chat, actually tuning in for once, as Ted makes his way back into the pits. But what a change in fortunes there, Natty, for the McLaren team. They were up in like 5th and 6th at one point during that session, find themselves down in 14th and 15th. They will not be happy with that. Then that's going to round out qualifying here, or at least it should. Still got cars on the track.
Just look at the race director. Joe done 8 laps in that quali session.
His tyres must be done. Has he actually? Oh, he has.
8 laps, as in 8 in total.
The last 2 were invalid though. So here's how the grid will line up for this evening's race. Cash Stengel heads the all Dutch front row in pole position, throws it in 2nd, Absolute 11 the championship leader in 3rd, Joe in 4th, Shanks the 5th, Ben Roberts 6th, the Thunder 7th, Before You Die 8th, Guillotine 9th, and Bon Evil rounds out the top 10. F1 Lover starts just outside and will be the first car with free choice of tyre in 11th, Napula in 12th, Wolfie 13th, Tiger narrowly beating Ted as a 14th position, Haka in the other Racing Point in 16th, JMB Surreal in 17th, GSI Bates at 18th, Isaac Smart 19th, and Spanel serving that LLP4 rounds out the grid here in 20th and last position then. So, Natty, let's talk strategy.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be an all-dry session, and if it is, I'm assuming a soft to medium is going to be the preferred option. Some people might choose to start on hards and play it safe, but yeah, it's a simple one at Austria.
Yeah, certainly. Soft to medium, but lap 14 will be the critical lap here. It's going to be a dry start, Natty, so your theory's out of the window. And before we actually get going here, interesting news for all of you in the chat, all of you who I care, I guess. Joe has said that if he does not win this race, and listen carefully here, if Joe does not win this race, he has to do 36 laps around the Nordschleife in a Fiat 500 on GT Sport, which he will stream probably onto his YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. If Joe doesn't win this race, 36 laps Nordschleife. So something for all of you in the chat to keep on top of then, as the session's going to start any moment here. Actually, you know what? I think Pieface, if anyone knows like the YouTuber Pieface, he did like a 103.9 round here. I wonder if that would put him on the grid actually. That would be interesting.
I think that was like 9th place in this grid.
That wouldn't be bad. We can have Pieface and Gavra Racing, why not? Ice in the vents, mate.
Just something from this quali session. 1st to 16th will separate by a second.
Damn. That's just
the entire grid separated by 1.3 seconds.
For all of those who did competitive laps, I think we're
yeah,
excluding Isaac from that. Sorry, Isaac. You know, you do a great job commentating GT Sport. Right, let's see here who's gone for a different strategy. If I can get that up on stream for you. Tyre, there we go. So, F1 Lover, Wolfie, Tiger, JMB Surreal, GS5 Bates, Isaac Smart and Stanel all starting on the medium tyres. That could be an interesting medium to soft counter strategy. Obviously we have to see if we get any safety cars. Turn 3 in particular can be very treacherous on lap 1, especially when you throw a full grid of highly competitive drivers at it. Then as Cash makes his way around this very short formation, that actually the shortest one of the season actually, but that's just the nature of the track. We'll have another quick look down here in the chat before we get back going again. Dutch saying that Joe's going to quit after 500 meters. If he DNFs, he also has to do the Nürburgring thing though. Velocity, that's a fanboy alert for Cash Daniel. I'm sure he's only fanboying himself. Hello to Giovanna Cameron as well. Not happy with his yeah, to be honest actually, it's a difficult track to extract all the lap time out of, but long races, I'm sure you know he'll be able to get his head down. Anyway, Cash Stengel then currently leads all Dutch front row. I think that's the first time that's happened this season, because I unfortunately used to think that Frozer was German, but his teammate's German, he isn't. So it might have happened before, but I just don't know. So we're going to have all of the drivers line up here as Spanel takes his final grid position slot. Let's hide the UI on the screen and get ready to go for 36 laps of action here in Austria. Got the green flag, got the all clear from the marshals. Let's go now to 5 red lights as a predicted pit stop strategy flashes up there, but we're going to go to 5 red lights anyway. When they go out, it's going to be go for the Austrian Grand Prix. Cass gets off to a good start and Frozen's had a terrible start, but here comes Absolute 11 now on the inside, challenging Cash Stengel into turn 1, but Cass holds it round the outside as they make their way over the little crest. There's a Red Bull running wide in the background as they make their way down through turn 1. On the run up towards turn 3, can Absolute have another go? He's going to go to the outside on Cash Stengel now, but Cass holds the inside line. Can Absolute get a switch back here? There's contact behind as Joe gets swiped a little bit. I think he's disconnected there, Natty, because his car is ghosting. I know he's back now, but there's battle for the lead here as Cass and Absolute go wheel to wheel into turn 4. Absolute 11 on the inside, locks up, forces Cash Stengel wide. They're still wheel to wheel through turns 5 and 6, side by side action here on lap 1 in the Premier Series, and Cass holds it on the inside. Absolute 11 has to back out.
Yeah, I was riding on board with someone and there was wing damage on the exit of turn 3. I'm not sure who's got the damage, but there was definitely an M plate. It might have been a racing point, it's not Joe's, but I don't know who's got that damage. The yellow flags in the middle section. It's a Ferrari off, it's Isaac Smart.
Isaac Smart's with a very big incident there. I think he's
collided with Hacker.
I think that would be an accurate assessment there. Natty is Frozen looking to make up for the mistakes on lap 1 already, all the way up behind Absolute 11. DRS enabled? What? DRS definitely not enabled. It's not lap 3 yet, it's lap 2 despite what it says up there, but Absolute 11 is going to go for a move for the lead of the race on the inside of Cash Stengel. He's caught Cass napping there, goes over the curb. That could be a warning, but now Cass has got the better traction off the corner. There's almost contact between the two. They make their way down now in towards turn 4. Cass on the outside, Absolute on the inside. Who gets this move? Absolute's going to try and stick it down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. He forces him wide once again. They're going wheel to wheel once again into turns 5 5 and 6. Absolute 11 gets the move done on his Dutch rival there and puts his AlphaTauri into the lead of the race, and that's going to leave Cass vulnerable to Frozer in the Mercedes behind now in third, and Joe's tagged onto this as well, and Shankster. He's got a 5-way battle for the leader already, and it's only lap 2, not lap 3 like it says in the top left-hand corner of the screen. I'm not too sure why the game has done that then, but get ready lads, because it's time for DRS train to begin.
Yeah, 36 laps of a DRS train. Everyone on the start-finish straight now, apart from the few collisions that are happening at the back. Guys, it's not picking for a fresh set of soft tyres. So that's a 2-stop for the Ferrari driver. A safety car will bring him into this race again, but the grid after one lap is so close, not even a second separating anyone.
Oh, Joe sent it down the inside of Frozer at turn 3. That was a beautiful send, lick the stamp and send it, but he hasn't got the traction on exit, and Frozer keeps the position. Remember, if Joe doesn't win this race, 36 laps around the Nordschleife for a Fiat. And Frozer's gone wide. Sorry, Natty, Frozer's gone very wide, and that's actually checked up, Joe, on the exit of turn 4, and they've both lost time to Cass and Absolute 11, who currently are still battling for the lead of the race. And now Shanks having a go on Joe, and maybe going to go down the inside at turn 7. Can't make anything of it, though, at this point in time.
Yeah, Naturally was looking for a moving body, but couldn't quite get it done at turn 4. We'll be eyeing up the AlphaTauri, but it's important that these drivers don't waste time in overtaking. If they're going to get it done, they're going to get it done quickly, otherwise they're going to drop out the DRS train like guillotine stand to thunder.
Yeah, certainly, Natty. Lap 4, well, I don't even know what lap is anymore. I'm going to assume it's lap 4 because it says lap 4. So Cash Stengel, DRS open, gaining all the time. And he's in the grass.
In the exit of turn 1. I don't think that was contact, it didn't look like it.
Luckily he hasn't taken anybody with him, but Bon Evil down the inside of Guillotine. That was forceful, aggressive, nice as you like. Bon Evil puts the AlphaTauri up into 8th position, and the 2 Mercedes going wheel to wheel almost. Joe's still ahead of Frozer even. Joe's got past Frozer, sorry, into 3rd position now, but he's 1.2 seconds behind, but Frozer's coming back at the racing point on the inside into turn 6, and now they're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 7 and 8. Joe's going to keep it round the outside. There's slight contact between the two. Joe keeps the position. That was hard, that was fair. That's what we love to see here in Gavra Racing. But Frozen now tucks back into the slipstream and tries to get past Joe in towards turn 9, but can't make anything of it on this occasion. 1.4 seconds now Joe finds himself behind Cash Stengel.
Yeah, Ben Lindis as well, getting past Guillotine through the middle sector. Those two were going wheel to wheel, similar to the battle we had up front, and the Ferrari was able to come up on top over the Williams. But like I was saying earlier, Joe's lost a lot of time, so Cash Stengel and Absolute 11 in front. Now for Romeo might look for a move for the lead of the race. He's going to look for one down the inside of Absolute 11, gets the move done up into the lead of the race.
Oh, Absolute's lost it! Absolute's lost the rear! That's going to leave him vulnerable now to this battle behind, as Frozer's managed to secure the inside line for turn 4. They're all gaining though on Absolute 11, who had that sideways moment coming out of turn 3 and has locked up into turn 4 to compound the issue now, as Joe is in DRS range of Absolute 11.
Yeah, a little mistake from Absolute 11. I think he tried to get the switch back maybe and just put the car down a little bit too early, but that's helped Joe out a little bit in this race, and that was pulled in within the DRS, and now Absolute's trailing at 1.2 seconds behind Cash Stengel.
And Joe will be looking at Absolute 11's rear wing and be wondering, how can I get past this car in front? He said all this week how he wanted to reignite his championship charge. This is his best chance now. So you've got yellows in sectors 2 and 3. I think that was a GSY base who's got some dirt there on his right front tyre. But Joe now will be licking his lips at the prospect of overtaking his championship rival as he heads down the back straight into turn 3. He's gone defensive actually. He's had to protect from Frozer, trying something down the outside. Ooh.
Joe sending one down the inside of Absolute 11.
I didn't even see that. He's braking very late for turn 3, but that's left Absolute 11 now vulnerable to the pink Mercedes. Going to go around the outside. Is he Joe into turn 4? It's going to be a ballsy move if he sends it. Absolute 11 squeezes him out of room, and now Frozer's down the inside. As you've got a great shot to watch this action from. Can Frozer keep it on the inside into turn 6? No, he got asked to back out of the move then and down the hill towards turn 7 and 8. Let's get the UI off the screen then and enjoy this qualifying helicopter shot. As now Joe making his way over the small crest here and down towards turns 9 and 10. Only 3/10 between Absolute 11 and Joe, so Joe will still have a DRS. But Cash Stengel now, Natty, 2 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, these guys battling is costing them all time to Cash Stengel. Like I was saying earlier, if they want to overtake, they need to make sure that they're going to get it done. If not, just stick behind the car in front. And Piero making a good point in the chat saying how they've all used up their overtake button on lap 7. Shanks is the only one with he's got 80% of his battery deployment. Joe sending one again down the inside of Absolute 11.
He's
into turn 3.
Sorry, Natty.
But just couldn't quite get the traction and exit. Might look to move into turn 4.
It's going for it. It's down the inside. Oh,
he's got the move done.
He pays back the treatment that Absolute 11 did to him on the lap before. Joe then puts himself up into P2, but now he's going to be the car in that train, Natty, that doesn't have the DRS. So he's going to fall back through the field surely here.
Yeah, if these guys want to catch up to Castello, they might try and start working together. It's really from 2nd to 8th, all within this train. Ben Roberts has just joined the back of it.
And Thunder actually finds himself in this train now as well. At the moment, looking like a very good race for the Irishman. Currently finding himself up in P6. So Joe's going to be doing everything he can to try and close that gap. But Natty, I think Absolute 11, that half spin has cost him a bit in terms of confidence. As now, Frozen's going to go to the outside here, and he's going to get him before we even get to the braking zone. But Absolute tries to keep it on the inside. No, he backs out of the move, and Frozen then puts his Mercedes up into P3.
I was just going to say F1 level on the back of Guillotine, quite close to the back of Guillotine, to the fact that he hit the rear of the Williams and lost some end plate damage to the front right. Going into turn 1, that's going to put him vulnerable to before he die, and the Tiger, he might be into the pits this lap to repair it.
Yeah, that looks like very heavy damage. You can see that not only is the part of the end plate missing, but you can see the main plate there on the Alfa Romeo is also severely damaged. So expect to see him into the pits in the near future. Before you die, he's going to have to be careful here. Oh, did he make that move? Oh, sorry, we didn't get to see that because the camera switched to Guillotine. But now he's holding up traffic here, really. Needs to be careful not to take anybody out. Should be the Ghanaian should be going back into the... Before you die round! Oh, wow!
And before you die, hit the back of
safety car.
Before you die, hitting the back of F1 Lover, and then before you guy's car just had nowhere to go. Tiger hitting the Haas, not before you die or Tiger's fault. And then I think Tiger might have end plate damage. He does, front left end plate, and he's on the medium, so he might be in this lap for some hards potentially.
I was about to say that, Natty. This now opens up a very interesting part of the race, because from this point you could probably get to the end on a set of the hard tyres, but do you stick it out? Do you try and make the gap on the soft tyres and pit for the mediums and come back at the other cars towards the end of this race? It was a conundrum that was presented in the Super League race last season as well. Some drivers chose to go for the hard tyres, but when we're comparing hards to mediums, the hards really are not good around here. What does Cash then decide to do? I think what he'll do, most of the grid will follow, and Cass, it looks like, is coming in. Cass is coming in. What does Joe do? Joe follows him. Frozer comes in. They're all coming in.
It's going to be interesting to see what tyres, like you say, whether they go for another set of softs and mediums or they go to the end on hards. It is possible. Let's find out. I'm going to go on with Joe because the Mercedes Alpha, the racing point is first, and it's softs.
Softs for Joe?
Softs for Joe, hards for Catch Demo.
That's a mistake from Joe. I think that's a mistake.
Mercedes for Williams. Williams mediums, Shanks is going to soft.
Mercedes for Williams.
Sorry, Guillotine is coming to the pits for a wing change and for hard tyres as well. So we've got a big variety of strategy here.
Yeah, certainly. So Frozer and Absolute committing to the medium side, try and get themselves to the end of this race. Cash then are going for the hards. Joe, I can't see that strategy working from Joe. He has to make another pit stop now in this race, so he needs to go great guns on those soft tyres to try and get this potential win back, really.
Well, we've got a huge mix-up in strategy. We've got half, or a third of the grid on softs, a third of him on mediums, and another third on the hards. So it looks like the majority are going for a two-stop.
I think I know why Joe's gone for those tyres. I think he assumes that the hards and the mediums won't get to the end of the race. Indeed, from here on the mediums, it's going to be very, very marginal indeed, because to be honest, to make the soft medium work, you need to get to lap 14. These drivers have come into the pits on lap 9. Now I know with the safety car there's obviously going to be reduced tyre wear, but I wouldn't see the safety car staying out for another 4 laps here to be comfortably within that medium tyre lifespan. So they could really be in trouble at the end of this race. Cash Stengel as well, it's going to be very marginal even on the hard tyres, I would say, from this point. So Shankster and Joe may not have put themselves completely out of the game here as it stands, but we're just going to have to wait and see. One person who this does bring back into play there, Nasty, is Isaac Smart, who had a big crash on the exit of turn 6, I think it was, on lap 1. He's going to be able to catch up to the back of the pack now and go racing once again.
Yeah, definitely. It's really going to be an interesting race. I mean, at the start I was saying how there's not much strategy, but now we've got 3 different tyre, well, a third of the grid on 3 different tyre compounds, so who knows what's going to happen, whether the 2-stop will be better than the 1-stop. I mean, I'm going to assume that Cash Stengel on those hards will go to the end if there's not another safety car towards the end of this race.
Yeah, certainly. Rick Holt saying that the hards will make it easily. It's just, I think the lifespan of the hard tyres might be enough to get it to the end, Rick, but it's just if he's quick enough, really. Because if he falls back into, about 4th or 5th position now on those hards, then he's going to have to, try and make that time back up when all the other cars around him have that tyre advantage, have the extra grip. And, yeah, well, I'm just going to have to wait and see. I mean, I remember if Joe doesn't win this race, then, Fiat 500 Nordschleife, I'm going to keep saying it until he wins or loses the race, so get used to it. But Cash Stengel then becomes the de facto safety car in the final sector as the lights on top of the must be said beautiful Mercedes AMG GT safety car go out. Going to be sharing the honours this season with the Aston Martin Vantage. Hopefully Codemasters put that in the game, because that is also a very good looking automobile. As Cass has actually not really let the safety car get away here. That could be a bit of an issue because the speed limit is going to kick in soon. And where does he decide to go then? Oh, I think it's just kicked in there. Yep, it has. So Cass has actually gone at the final corner, leaving it very late then, and he's gone. And now Joe's going to try and stay with him on the run up towards turn 1. Joe needs to make this move and needs to make the most of these soft tyres now. He can't afford to be stuck behind Cass or even get overtaken here by Frozer, as could actually happen, as Frozer going to look to the outside or inside going into turn 3. Is he going to go for a move here? Joe's very late on the brakes into turn 3, and he can't make anything of it as of yet. Cass has had a bad exit though off the corner, and here comes Joe on those better soft tyres. Actually no, here comes Frozer on the medium, so I'm going to have a look down the inside maybe, as Ted's been Ted's overtaking, sorry, the racing part of Pack is Namoglu's F1 lover as well, getting past Ben Roberts. They're going wheel to wheel into turn 4. F1's going to push Ben Roberts a little bit wide. The GT Sport commentator battling the social media manager, going to go 3 wide into turn 5 as Spaniel tries to make a move down the inside, turn 6 sorry even, but gets around the outside of the Ferrari, and Ben Roberts losing 2 positions. Here goes Joe Nassi into the penultimate corner. Joe on the inside. What a move by Joe on the soft tyres. He now leads this race, and now Nassi, he has to disappear.
He's got to push as hard as he can. Quali lap after quali lap after quali lap. He needs to get out of the slipstream of Cash Stengel and Frozer behind. Those two are much slower compound tyres. He needs to break the slipstream, let those guys battle behind, so his 2-stop strategy can work in this race.
And now Frozer on the inside of Cass, and this is what I was talking about, Natty. Cass does not have the pace on those hards. He just doesn't. And now Frozer's down the inside of his championship rival there and puts himself up into 2nd place. And it could be another mugging here. An absolute 11 on the inside of Cash Stengel now into turn 4. And in the space, Natty, of 3 corners, Cass has lost 3 positions.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Picking up a 3-second time penalty, so that's not going to help him at the end of this race. But after the safety car restart, it's all still very close. Hacker and Napula going wheel to wheel in towards turn 6. I think it's turn 5, I think it is actually.
No, it's turn 6, now through turn 7, Napoli manages to keep the position, but Shanks as well looking at the battle of Cash Stengel, he needs to make this move also, but crucially here, Natty, Joe has broken DRS to Froze. That's going to be crucial for his race, but he still needs more of a gap. He needs, well realistically Natty, he needs a pit stop here over the car behind.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be wanting for Absolute 11 to battle with Frozen for that gap to go up. I remember in the good old freshman days when it was me and Holland battling for the lead. As soon as Holland started battling with the guys behind, I was just able to pull away. And here goes Shankster and Castonga now for 4th place. Mercedes down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. There's a little bit of contact. But Shankster initially gets up into 4th place. He's got better traction, better grip on those soft tyres. And here goes Absolute 11 on Frozen around the outside. And the Alfa Tauri gets them done up into 2nd place.
And that is essentially the net lead of this race, of Joe having to make another pit stop here. Shankster going to be closing in on this battle as well. Will we see some team orders perhaps between the two Mercedes boys, as Shankster currently finds himself on a different tyre strategy? He goes in sector 2, and that's Isaac Smart who's gone round again, and he's spun in the gravel here, Natty.
And yeah, it's really unfortunate for Isaac, currently in 19th place, but I think Frozer understands that he needs to work together to catch up with Joe. It didn't look like he was fighting with Absolute 11 too hard on that previous lap. But the gap now up to 2 seconds. This is exactly what Joe wants. He needs to keep pushing on those soft tyres. He's still got about 10 laps left of life in those tyres.
Here comes Shankster on his teammate into turn 3. He's going to make a move down the inside, tucks back in under braking, but Frozen needs to let Shankster go here. He can't afford to be sat behind in this DRS train, as Isaac Smart's gone off again here, Natty, and he's lost all of his front wing down at turn 8 now. That's going to be... Oh, he's spun again!
Frozen getting moved on now. Absolute 11 around the outside. Absolute 11 not fighting that one too much either, so I think the front runners know what they need to do now to catch up with Joe. They don't seem to be fighting each other too much, just letting one go after each DRS straight. And
they're losing so much time to Jova. Now the gap's 2.7 seconds. Shankster on Absolute 11 into turn 9. He gets moved on even before they start braking for the corner. Great stuff there from Shankster. Cass, it must be said though, Natty, hanging on to this battle, currently in P5. He'll be hoping this race comes back towards him then as the tyres start to die on the cars in front. But now Shankster all the way up behind Frozer. He needs to make this move now. He needs to make it now and get after Joe, put him under some pressure. Isaac Smart has retired from the session there. That might be a manual retirement, I think, because he's gone off the track there at turn 9. Joe is streaking away with this at the moment, though, it must be said.
Yeah, he was 5/10 quicker than Frozen on the last lap alone, so he's definitely got the pace on the time, but it's whether he can keep the consistency for the next 20 laps. He's really good at keeping that consistency in the wet last week in Canada. Let's see if he can have the same pace tonight in Austria.
Yes, certainly, Joe going great guns in the lead at the moment. 3 seconds now that gap's just gone up to. So he has got some absolutely amazing pace. Joe, the Englishman, on fire once again, looking to seal a second win in a row here in the Premier Series. Absolute 11 currently finds himself down in 4th position, our championship leader, as Shankster, he's all over the back of Frozer here as we go into the final corner, but he's not got as good a driver as he would want. Frozer picking up a 3-second time penalty, Natty. That could be crucial for this race. Now his teammate's going to look for a move into turn 1. Are we going to see a repeat of 2016 between the two Mercedes here? Shankster has DRS open now in the run-up from turn 1 to turn 3. There's a Ferrari going very slowly. They've all managed to get round it though. As here comes Shankster into turn 3 on the inside line. And he's going to outbrake Frozen now and gets the move done on his teammate. Now, what can Shankster do about Joe? Can he put him under pressure? But that's actually left Frozen vulnerable to Absolute 11 with DRS open. He's down the inside of the Mercedes. Can he get Shankster as well under braking? No, he can't. He slots in behind the other Mercedes, but now splits both of them, and Shankster really has to go here, but that has not worked out well for Frozer at all.
Yeah, Frozer dropping 2 positions to Absolute 11 and Shankster. Now those soft tyres on Shankster, it's going to be a pure pace battle now between him and Joe. Shimmy he can pull the gap behind to Absolute 11, and it should create an interesting fight, those two colliding in France. And they're currently 1-2 in this race.
Yeah, certainly. Yes, Absolute 11 closing on the back of Shankster here, Natty. Now, of course, Absolute does not drive for the Mercedes team, so he will be doing Shankster absolutely no favours whatsoever. You can be sure of that, as Cass picks up a 3-second time penalty now as well. Not as many of those, well, I say not as many of those amongst the top 2, anyway, but for the rest of the grid here, Natty, it's not looking great.
So it's 3 wide with Napula, Guillotine and Ben Roberts down straight in towards turn 3. The Ferrari on the inside, Napula on the outside. They're still 3 wide going into the corner. Ben Roberts getting the initial move up into 9th place, but now dropped all the way to 12th. As here comes Napula. Tiger as well getting involved in this battle.
Wow.
Guillotine going to the inside of the Haas, and Ben Roberts to the inside of Tiger. They're 2 by 2 going into turn 4. Guillotine getting the move done on Napula. Ben Roberts as well. Still going wheel to wheel.
This is insane.
Ben Roberts and Guillotine now going side by side.
Oh, it's contact! Oh, and Tiger's hit Guillotine. Joe picks up a 3-second time penalty now as well.
And no damage for Tiger, damage though for Guillotine, but that gap's coming down between Shaxter and Joe.
And Guillotine and GSY Bates also having a bit of an incident as well there. They're all back together again. Wolfie on the back of this pack as well here. Absolute 11 picks up another 3-second time penalty there, Natty.
And that gap is coming down, 2.2 seconds now.
But look at who Shankster is bringing with him, and still in that DRS range, absolute 11. So this race has just had a bit of spice added to it. Shankster looking quick, looking very quick. Oh, GSY Bates is round at turn 1.
And yeah, that gap between Joe and Shankster is coming down.
And Shankster's got some serious pace then this evening. The last time we were at the Premier Series and it was sort of like this, things didn't end too well for Shankster. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go back to season 1 of the Premier Series and watch that race. I enjoyed it, he didn't.
I think I got disqualified from that one. Oh no, I disconnected from that.
Yeah, you disconnected because you spun at like turn 9 with your 4-3 wings. But anyway, Shankster's gone wide actually. That's allowed the gap to open back up between Shankster and Joe. Absolutely, though, he's playing the long game at the moment here, Natty. He's just happy to sit behind in the DRS, save a bit of fuel, save some ERS. This is working wonders for him at the moment, but is he going to go for a move? It looked like he was.
Yeah, I think Absolute 11's just going to try behind Shankster, make the most of Shankster's pace and those soft tyres. I say that, but he's got the DRS and the overtake engaged. He pulls over to the inside.
Never mind.
He's going to go down the inside of the Mercedes. He's gone deep in Shankster with the switchback.
What a switchback! The king of switchbacks. I'm going to go wheel to wheel into turn 6 almost. As Absolute decides to back out of that move. Wise driving there from the German.
But as sorry, I was going to say Spanner getting moved on Bon Eagle, and the only driver without a penalty.
Yeah, and the Spanner's actually done really, really well in this race, picking up that LLP4 from France. Wasn't here last time out in Canada, so had to serve it for this race. Joe Pitts, that's early. Okay, so Joe then trying to give himself the most time possible to make up that gap on the mediums. He only had about 3 seconds worth of an advantage over the cars behind when he came in, but Joe makes his way back out onto the track on a set of the medium tyres here, and he's going to be outside the top 10. He's going to be heavily outside the top 10 here, Natty.
Losing a lot of traffic.
I guess now the chase has begun then. Joe, 13th position. He has to get back to first to avoid that Fiat. Shankster, Absolute on Shankster almost into turn 4 as well. And Absolute 11 not letting his fellow German Shankster get away from him at any point in this stint then. Both on 10 lap old tyres for both of them. But Shankster will be feeling the age now on those softs. And he really hasn't been able to get as much of a gap, as he needs to extend his medium stint. So will we see Shankster in this lap?
So, I mean, from my experience of this track, the undercut is really powerful. Doesn't decide to come into this pit, come into the pits, stays out.
But of course, Natty, the undercut is only powerful if the other cars around you have to make a pit stop.
I mean, I'll keep an eye on the gap between Joe and the leader. Currently 16 seconds. F1 is also into the pits.
Yeah, I've just seen that. And Shankster, oh, Absolute Lever's made a mistake in there somewhere, Natty. He's now 1.1 seconds behind Shankster. As he's locked up into the hairpin of turn 3 as well.
Burrows just now as well, closing in on his teammate. Yellow flags in the first section.
Not too sure why those were there. Could have been Wolfie? No, nothing's happened there. Right, let's go back down here to Ben Robertson on the back of Nackler. DRS open for the Ferrari. Can he make a move on the Haas? The Brit on the finish driver into turn 4. He's a bit too far back on those hard tyres, but trying everything he can to try and get past the Haas and into 7th position. Nackler goes defensive into turn 6. Ben tries to make it round the outside. Tries to get the cut back on Nackler, but nothing doing at this moment as that gap up in front's come down. Shankster is in the pit lane. Is this going to be for the medium tyres? Indeed it is. So where will Shankster come out now in relation to Joe?
This is going to be close between Shankster and Joe. The gap hasn't really changed all too much, so this could be...
Joe's been stuck behind Tiger though, Natty. Joe's been stuck behind Tiger, but there might be a massive gap here for Joe. Shankster is still limited to the pit lane speed, and she's only just come out of the pit lane now. Joe's already through turn 1, so Joe stays ahead of Shankster.
Yeah, that gap has come down though from its 3 seconds to 6/10. Don't really get hampered in traffic.
Ben and Nackler going wheel to wheel into turn 3. Ben on the inside, Nackler on the outside, but Nackler has got the better traction on those mediums. Joe is still stuck behind his good friend Tiger. They're going to go wheel to wheel down the back straight. Joe gets moved on before we even reach the braking zone. Ben Roberts still stuck behind Nackler, who's putting up a stout and brilliant defense here in the battle for 6th position. Joe now just behind his Shankster as well, making a move round the outside of Tiger Assassin. There's contact. Tiger's off. There's heavy contact there, and he will not be happy with that.
Yeah, I didn't get the best camera angle there, but really unfortunate for the McLaren. He's Wolfie closely behind as well, so we approach lap 25 out of 26. 36, so but yeah, it's now going to be up to Joe and Shankster to try and close down on the leaders. 8 to 15 seconds.
Speaking of which here, Natty, 15 seconds and 12 laps. Well, their job is being made easier for them because the top 3 are now battling. I've got it up on my screen here. Absolute 11, Frozer and Cash Stengel absolutely nose to tail. This will be helping Joe and Shankster.
Joe sending it on Ben Roberts. He seems to be so late on the brakes. That was beautiful.
Oh, I didn't catch that on stream, unfortunately.
Here
but
goes the Nappula as well.
Joe is on fire here this evening. He wants this win. He's not driving that Fiat. As he gets down the inside of Nackler as well. Joe is on fire tonight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's contact! Joe moving right in the braking zone. No damage done to either car. Absolute 11. Oh, they're both in the pits. Absolute 11 and throws a pit. The mediums aren't going to get to the end of the race here, Natty. And that's huge.
It's soft highs for Frozer. Absolute 11 also for softs.
That has put a completely different spin on this race now.
And here goes
now,
Joe, and Joe passes them both with a big lead over them.
Joe will have a big lead on both of them, so will Shankster. But now they're going to be coming back. The Hunter has become the hunted. Ladies and gentlemen, Absolute 11 and Frozen now out on track on fresh soft tyres. And they're going to be going absolutely gung-ho in the final 11 laps of this race, trying to chase down Joe. And even more importantly, Cash Stengel, who now leads this race, Natty, by 7.3 seconds over Bon Evil, who's in 2nd, and Thunder, who is in 3rd. But Thunder is hugely vulnerable here to the likes of Joe, to the likes of Nackler and Shankster, because they're only 2.7 seconds behind him.
Well, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a thrilling race up ahead.
Shankster making a move round the outside of Nackler. That's an old rivalry from season 1 there, French Grand Prix.
It's Absolute 11 looking for a move on Ben Roberts to the inside of the Ferrari on those fresh set of soft tyres, moves up into 7th place. I'll be hunting down Shankster and Joe.
I would like to point out, before anyone clips what I said earlier, I meant that is huge for the race. No one clip that and take it out of context. But Absolute 11 making a move in context on Nackler into turn 1. Can't make anything of it though, not braking late enough there, like Joe was last of the late breakers. As here comes Absolute 11 on the inside line into turn 3. DRS open, it's snapshot now under braking into turn 3. And Absolute 11 gets the move done down the inside. Nackler doesn't fight it too much, he knows that it's going to be a futile battle anyway, but not futile against Ben Roberts. That move will be for position if Ben defense if the British driver can make it. Napila's going back down the inside of the championship leader, or at least I thought he was. Backs out of it at the last moment there. That was very, very wise driving from the measured head of Napila. Frozen making a move on Ben Roberts, though, into turn 6. He's locked up, nearly gone into the back of Napila. They're going to go nose to tail through turn 7 and 8. Look at the drive that Frozen has. He's on the inside. He's going past the Haas of Napila. That's almost like real life Natty there. The drive that the Mercedes had off the corner on the Haas.
Yeah, Frozen, a really good move up into 7th place. We're trying to get past Absolute 11, who sets the fastest lap of the race, both of them on the fresh softs.
Thunder picking up a 3-second time penalty. That gap's really down to a second. Joe has got amazing, even if he doesn't win this race, Joe has been absolutely incredible tonight. All of the drivers have been incredible tonight. This has been absolutely a crazy, crazy race. As a Hakan's trying to defend from F1 Lover, who has DRS open in the battle for the last point. He's going to force his rival wide up at turn 3, but F1 Lover gets the drive off the corner, but Hakan gets the DRS down the back straight into turn 4. Can he make a move here on the Alpha Romeo? He's going to go down the inside as he backs out of it.
And Joe's already caught up to the back of Thunder, but more importantly, there is now no one in between Absolute 11 and Shankster. The two, soft, fresh mediums versus fresh softs. And this is going to be really interesting end of the race between these 4 drivers, all on a charge to Cash Daniel, who's still on those 17-lap hold.
So, Natty, less than 10 laps to go. The gap is 11.5 seconds between Joe. So 11.9 seconds, between Joe and Cash Stengel. Can he do this here? You would say the podium looks like it could be a strong possibility. Thunder weaving to break the slipstream. Going to go to the inside line to defend from Joe. Going to go to the outside. And around the outside, he's tried it. He will have the DRS open now, but Shankster is coming back at him now on the inside line. But here goes Joe around the outside of the Red Bull. Shankster's making it 3 wide. He's going to make a double overtake the German on the inside. There's big contact. Thunder's round. Absolute 11's gone through them up into 3rd place. There's big contact between Joe, Shankster and Thunder. Thunder coming out worse than that. He's been absolutely Albon there at turn 4.
And, well, we talk about who's going to win this race, but Bonnie Eagle in a decent position at the minute, in 2nd place, 8 seconds behind Cash Stengel. But I've just been looking at the gap to leader over the past few laps, and it's not been coming down at the rate that these guys need to win this race.
Shankster's in the pits with damage. That must be for damage. Is it for a drive-through? No, it's for damage, sorry, yeah, the team. Yeah, damage, front wing damage for Shankster.
That is huge. More unluck. More, I was going to say unluckiness.
More unluck.
Unluckiness a word?
Unluckiness is a word, I think. Let's not have a debate about the English dictionary now, shall we? But Absolute 11, Natty, that's been come down by a second already. I'm going to go over to the penalty screen here. That has made things a little more interesting. So, Cash Stengel has picked up 3 seconds. Bon Evil on 9 seconds. Absolute 11 on 9 seconds. Joe on 3. Thunder and Ben Roberts on 12. Wolfie on 18, down in 16th position. Tiger on 14 as well. Those are the 2 biggest I can see on that list. Can no one take that out of context as well, please?
Barra's still the only one with no penalties. But Absolute 11 is closing in on his teammate Ben Roberts. AlphaTauri in a really good position for some good constructive points here.
As Frozer on Joe, and from looking so good for Joe, it's looking less and less good as the laps go past. That 30 of 36, and Frozer's going to look to the outside, gets the move done before we even get to the braking zone of turn 3. But that doesn't mean it's over, because Joe is very late on the brakes here. Can't send it on this occasion. Down, Joe then down into 5th. Absolute 11 here, Natty. It's looking dicey. Cash Stengel still out in the lead, 7.6 seconds, so that gap has come down a little bit. But you would argue not by enough, really. Yellow's in sector 2. That's Joe! Joe's round! And Joe's lost position. Joe's lost time. And he keeps it out of the wall, so no wing damage. But Joe down to 7th now.
I don't know if there was contact. I'm not sure. I didn't see.
Oh, absolute 11 on Bonnie Evil as Bonnie lets her teammate go into turn 9. That looks very orchestrated there from the two Alpha Tauris, but absolute 11 then. 4 laps to go. The gap's 8 seconds. He needs 2 seconds a lap here, Natty. He really does.
Yeah, I mean, we questioned what would be the correct strategy from the safety car, the one stop or the two. It looks like the one stop's been really good for Cash Stengel at the minute. He's had really good pace on those hard tyres. He's 8 seconds clear of absolute 11. Ben Roberts as well is in a good position on those 20 lap old hards. Has got a really speedy and I'm sure frustrated Joe behind, who's got the Fiat 500 car keys ready for him after this race.
Definitely. As the F1 lover trying to make a move on Nackler into turn 4. Nackler's running some very low wing angle there. Or F1 lovers is quite high. It's going to go down the inside. There's contact between the two. No one pirouetting round at this moment in time though. F1 lover's going to try and keep it round the outside. Indeed he does and gets round the outside on Nackler. Beautiful move there from the Ghanaian.
Here comes Fraser as well, closing on the back of Bonnie Evil, runs wide and picks up a 3-second time penalty in the final corner, and that brings his total up to 6.
The gap's not closing enough, Nancy, between Cash Stengel and Absolute at the moment.
And
unless someone gets a puncture, maybe? If that happens now. Oh, Bonnie's coming back at Frozer into turn 3. There's contact. She forces Frozer off the track. That could be a penalty coming the way of the English woman. Frozer probably too far behind to try anything into this braking zone, you would argue. Indeed, he is.
Yeah, looking at the penalties, Joe is still in a decent position with only 3 seconds. Fraser and Bonnie Evil have 6 and 9, so if he can keep up.
Cass, another 3-second time penalty.
Oh, here comes Fraser and Bonnie Evil, sorry, to the inside into turn 8. They're still going to go to the Mercedes on the inside.
Oh.
Bonnie's ran wide, but has to concede the position in the end. We'll get a good run through the final corner.
She's going to get DRS. DRS open now for the Brits going into turn 1. Can she make a move on Frozer? Bit too far behind on this occasion, but she's gone very wide, and that has actually given her a bit of an advantage off of turn 1. Well, look at the overspeed of the Alpha Tauri into turn 3 now. Nothing Frozer could do about that, and he's finding it very, very hard here to try and get past Bonnie.
Oh, but he sends one down the inside. They're going to go wheel to wheel, the Mercedes and the Alpha Tauri. Down the back straight in the run down towards turn 4. There's a little bit of wheel banging between the two. Frozer on the inside. He's going to get the move done on those those soft tyres. Just in much better shape than Bonnie's hards.
Yes, certainly, Nancy, as Frozer puts himself up into P3. At the moment, Nancy would be in second position with Absolute picking up that another 3-second time penalty there.
Yeah, Castello having 6 seconds, Absolute 11 having 9. Frozer only on 6 and is 2.6 seconds behind Absolute 11, so doesn't really want to be battling with Bonnie Evil as he's kind of dropped her by about a second now. So if he can stay within 3 seconds of Absolute 11 and not get any penalties, it'll be the Mercedes on the second set on the podium instead.
Well, Joe at the moment actually here, Natty, is in 4th position, only picking up 3 seconds of time penalties, and currently finds himself 5.1 seconds behind Bonnie, and that gap is coming down all the time here. But Absolute 11 isn't making enough of an impression on this man, Cash Stengel, on 23 lap old hards here. Cass has played this to absolute perfection, it would seem, at the moment. We're not going to put too much of a curse on him at the moment. F1 Lover gets his way now past Thunder and up into 7th position, so good recovery from the Alfa Romeo. And in fact, let's have a quick look here at the position changes. I can remember which button to change for that. I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. For driver of the day, essentially. So Bonnie and is that Hakan up 6 positions from when they started, but the biggest gainer, Spannel, up 7 positions from where he started with that LLP4, not allowed to participate in qualifying. Our biggest loser so far, Shankster. I don't know how many times he said that this season, but Shankster with more bad luck, currently down in P12 and outside of the points.
Well, you can see on the tyres that there were 6 drivers who were pitted for the hards in the first safety car. Castano making the most of those tyres, but Evil doing a good job as well in 4th place. Ben Roberts has kind of been quite quiet in this race, had that 3 wide moment, but has done well to get his Ferrari up into 6th place, and is keeping up with Joe here in the prime stages of this race. Yellow flags, that's for Williams.
GSY Bates, I think that's for nothing too bad going on there. Nothing that should affect Cash Stengel there. As he's on his penultimate lap, sorry. Shanks are getting past Guillotine there in the battle for 11th once again. Ben Roberts is keeping close to Joe here though, Natty, it must be said.
Yeah, and then I flicked over to the penalties and realised that he's got quite a few, 18 seconds.
Oh, yeah, he might drop behind a lot of cars here at the end, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Cash Stengel then starts his final lap of what has been, Natty, an absolutely insane race from start to finish. Battles all the way through the field. But, sorry. I'm choking on my own words there. As Cash Stengel makes his way down the back straight between turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Has managed this to absolute perfection. Shanks are picking up the fastest lap of the race, so he really needs to gain an extra 1 second on Hakan to try and make that point count for something. But Cash Stengel then through the middle sector for the final time this evening. As we were saying, managed his tyres to absolute perfection, chose the right strategy when it counted under the safety car, and unless there's going to be some massive disaster here in the final couple of corners, it's going to be Cash Stengel who rounds the final corner, and it's going to be Cash Stengel to take the win here in Austria. Well done, Cash. He takes his first win of the season. Absolute 11th in second, but I think that's going to be third as Frozen crosses the line. Now, indeed it is. Bonivel crosses the line on track in 4th, but I think it will be Joe who takes that position. After a valiant effort from Joe, he will be driving that Fiat 500. F1 lover crosses the line in 7th and we move up to 6th on penalties because of Ben Roberts, and Thunder finishes in 8th. Nackler finishes in 8th actually because of penalties, and Shankster moves into 7th on the line. Okay, well, Shankster in 7th, but actually pushes Thunder out of the points. Guillotine over the line in 13th, and Head, J&B Surreal, Wolfie and Tiger Assassin, they will not be happy with that result, I am sure. But Cash Stengel, I'm sure, will be absolutely delighted with that result. He executed this race to absolute perfection. Knew when to push, knew when to conserve the tyres and just stay out of it for a little bit. And played all the cards right, took home the dub. Great drive from Cass.
Yeah, definitely making the one-stop work from the safety car. A lot of drivers opting for the mediums or the softs, but Cash Stengel going for those hard tyres, making them work in this race, and actually didn't lose too much time to the cars behind on the mediums and softs, so that might be something to look out for the Super League guys tomorrow. But it will be the Alfa Romeo driver taking the top step of the podium.
Yes, certainly, and thoroughly deserves it. Takes his first win of the season here after having some slight bad luck in the last couple of races. Finally picks up that elusive first victory, and somehow, Natty, the top 3 in this race have finished as the 3 drivers on the podium, but that definitely does not tell the story of this race at all. Some incredible action all the way through the field, and I think all of the Premier Series drivers can be very proud of their effort stage. You can see that, like, literally the top 3 on the grid were the top 3 in the race. But so let's take you through our final finishing positions here this evening. In fact, the top 4 even, Joe. So Cash Stengel takes home his first win of the year, throws it in second, absolute 11th third. Joe unlucky to finish up the podium there in 4th. Expect that stream with the Fiat 500 around the Nordschleife. Bonivel in 5th, F1 lover in 6th, Shankster 7th, Hakan in 8th, Ben Roberts finishes 9th, and Spanel 20th to 10th. Excellent drive from him, definitely redeeming himself from that LLP4. Nakula in 11th, and it's an Irish 1, 2, 3 in 12th, 13th and 14th respectively for Thunder, Guillotine, Ted, J&B Surreal and Tiger Assassin, and then Wolfie and GSY Bates making up the last 2 of the classified cars this evening, with Isaac Smart and Before You Die not making it to the checkered flag. Let's get some instant reaction then from the chat. People happy about... Oh yeah, sorry Pierre, I do say it Cash Stengel because last season in the Academy, Dutchy had a go at me and Tiger for saying it like Kassentengel, whatever the hell we were saying. So yeah, that's why I say it like that now. Kassentengel saying yes, he's very happy about that. Rick Colt happy for his fellow Dutchman. Everyone's happy that Kassentengel won apparently. Bonnie said that she'll take P5. Very well done to Bonnie as well. Robert Godfather congratulating the race winner as well. So it looks like Rick Holt was right then about those hard tyres on the safety car. Thunder 7th on track, but 11th after penalty. Yes, that's just his luck, really, isn't it? I think it's Cash's second ever win in Gavra Racing. He picked up the win in Abu Dhabi last season for the Academy, I think. But yeah, that's going to round us out for the action here, Natty. Some instant race reaction from you, I think.
So I've just seen Pierre's comment in the chat. So many position changes, but at the end it's the same. That reminds me of Hamilton, Bottas and Verstappen.
It's kind of true. But I mean, to be honest, it was a top 4 who all finished in the same order as where they started. But Joey Barlow, mate, that Fiat 500 and the Nordschleife is calling you. Expect to see a stream about that at some point over the weekend. We're going to make him do it. He's not going to enjoy it. I'm going to design a very pink livery for him. But anyway, from me and Natty and all of the drivers in the Premier Series this evening, great job from them. Hope you enjoyed all the action. We'll be back next week in Silverstone, my personal favourite track. I'm slightly biased because I am from the UK, and so is Natty, but he likes Italy because he's a Ferrari fanboy. But that's not going to be... And Spa. He likes Spa as well. We're going to both of those this season. But anyway, join Dutchy and Tiger tomorrow for the Super League. Also around Austria, the fastest drivers in F1 here at Gavra Racing. Even me and Natty both racing that. So if you want to see us step out of the commentary box and onto the track, tune in tomorrow 8:30 as well. Then on Friday at 8, Group A, of the GT Sport League will be streamed live. All the action from Sardinia Road Track B, where Dutchy's looking to extend his championship advantage even more, although me and Tiger will take him out of turn 1, so don't worry about that. And then on Saturday, I don't think we have anything unless Gavra's decided to do a Rocket League thing. And on Sunday, be sure to join new commentators Zexify and ND, I believe it is. You're going to be commentating on the Weekend League. But from me and Natty, thank you to everyone who's joined. We're having nearly 50 people at one point. That's going to be it from us today. See you next week, guys.
Goodbye.
Now, if I can just figure out how to end the stream, that would be great.